Hi there, my name is Yusra and today I'm going to be making a desktop organizer. So I started out with a slice of wood, and this is just a normal slice of wood that I picked up. I took some air drying clay, I left it in water till it became watery, and then I added some plaster of Paris and mixed it into a paste, and then I covered the slice of wood in this paste. So after it was dry, I took some air drying clay. I made some craters. There's one big one, and these little craters, they are functional. They're gonna be holding pencils. I'm just demonstrating. So once that was done, I took some tubes. I'm just placing the tubes where I want my spaceship or rocket to be. I'm just laying them out. I also made the details on the front of the rocket with air dry clay as well. I made an astronaut, his arms broke, so I had to glue them back, and then I just made a flag for decoration. So yeah, I'm just gonna be fixing up these cracks that I see. I left this project for way too long, so it developed a lot of cracks. I'm gonna pop it to the side just to fix up the cracks now. Taking an old tub or bucket, mixing some plaster of Paris. I find it's easier to keep them in these little containers. Then I'm gonna be mixing some strong glue and some white paint. And this paste is similar to what is already on the slice of wood. So I'm just gonna mix that up to a smooth consistency. Then I'm gonna be shoving it in the cracks with a palette knife. I find it's easier to use a paintbrush because I can get around in the creaks more sufficiently. I'm being careful not to cover the holes too much that the pencils will be going into. So now I'm just going to paint the sides. And I did wait for the top to dry before I painted the back. Let's ignore the writing in the corner. This paste is very hard to get off my hands, by the way, because it's so sticky. So I'm just painting the back. I didn't make enough paste originally, so I just ended up adding more glue and more white paint. And I'm just covering up the holes that are peeking through. So once that's dry, there's no chalky residue on my hands, as you can see. So I'm taking my very dirty palette, and we're gonna be mixing some shadowy colors. So I'm taking white paint and grey paint just to make the shadows on the moon for the craters. And I'm gonna be mixing a darker color as well. So we've got light shadows and dark shadows. And I'm just painting where I think the shadows on the moon would go. I didn't have a reference, so I'm just using my imagination. And I realized that while I was painting, there was this fly that was just flying around the ears. And I don't know, maybe it was an artsy fly, maybe the paint smelled nice. In a way, it was good company. So I'm just making some sketches just to create the illusion of craters. I didn't focus too much on this part because the tubes would go there, so you wouldn't see it anyway. So then I'm just gonna add some details to the sides of the moon as well. Okay, so I'm gonna paint the front of my rocket, just giving it a white coating. Then I'm gonna give my astronaut some white, which was very unnecessary because he ended up being mostly grey. Then I'm mixing the color for the night sky that I want. So I'm using some black, some blue, and a bit of white. And this is gonna be a night sky color. So I'm painting the tubes. I love this color, by the way, it's so nice. And then I'm gonna be painting my astronaut. Just gonna make some creases in his clothes or his suit, just to give it some detail. And I'm taking some aluminum paint just to add some highlights on his shoes, his gloves and his helmet. And then I'm just adding some buttons. Then I'm going to add the details to the front of my rocket, so the screws, the window and the door. And then I'm just going to paint some stripes on the back of the rocket. I feel since this was being in the background, I wouldn't put too much detail on it, so I just made some aluminum stripes. So then I'm going to paint a night sky on the front of the rocket as well, kind of as a portal or like a window, reflecting the outside. So for my stars I wanted to go with yellow, and I'm just mixing some white because I didn't want a normal white star. So then I'm taking a triangular sponge and I'm just gonna dot on some stars. I ended up going over the stars with a paintbrush because I felt it was very dotty. So I'm just gonna add some other dots. And then I'm adding stars to my windows as well. And I'm painting the inside of the tubes because it was bothering me how ugly it looked. I'm taking a broken paintbrush and just dotting on some screws. This is an old pot that I made. I'm gonna varnish my pieces, so I'm mixing some acrylic polymer with some glue. But if you can't get your hands on acrylic polymer, glue works just as well. And varnishing is actually my favorite part because look how satisfying that is. So after I'm done varnishing my stuff, I'm just gonna make a bottom for the big tubes, otherwise my pencils would fall straight through. So I'm just cutting out some circles from cardboard. My glue gun gave up on me at this point, so I was just squeezing out the glue that was left. But it did work pretty well. And I just glued my flag. Since my glue gun was giving up on me, I just ended up using some strong wood glue. And it actually did work pretty well. So once that was dry, I just placed my flag and I placed my astronaut. Then I filled it up with my stationery. So as you can see, the graters are working. They are holding my pencils. And this is how it looks on a test setting. The big grater also holds some things. And I absolutely love it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.